All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 10th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyberland. Thank you for following my content, liking my content, subscribing to my content, sharing my content, leaving kind words on the content. Special shout out Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Rick Sadler, Kathy, Sarah Roasted for sharing the content. Love that, helping get the good word out there to the rest of the World Wide Web so that they can appreciate it as well. Appreciate that. Thank you. All right, let's take a look at the market. Let's take a look at everything that happened yesterday. All right, so my SPY pivot today, still 674 above it. I'm a bull, below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow, QQQ and SPY both made outside day. Diamond Dow did also. QQQ, SPY outside days closing over bearish traps and over their 17 EMAs. IWM and Diamond Dow made outside days closing under bearish traps under their 17 EMAs. FNGU, stinker, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap and over the flat 17. SPY closed with 2-hour uptrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Gold made a lower high, lower low, closing inside a bearish trap over the flat 17. Silver, higher high, higher low, closing over a bearish trap and over the flat 17. USO made a new 7-year high, high flyer there. UNG outside day, higher high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the flat 17. US dollar index still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 98.70 area. SPY max pain for today, 674, which also is our pivot for SPY, with a put to call ratio of about 2 puts for each call. That expires today at 4:15. Index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. That would be for the ones that do expire today, okay? Main event this week, all right? It's going to be 2 of them. It's going to be CPI report on Wednesday at 8:30 and a delayed GDP report on Friday at 8:30. If this is your first time seeing this, these are all in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. These are all in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star next to it, they're building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. If they've got a little star next to it over here, they're building out a bear flag or a platform from which to dive lower. Let's go take a look at SPY. All right, let's try that one more time. All right, here we go with SPY. Let's take a look at 10-minute chart and make sure I got the right one. So on the 10-minute chart, you can see you got the sticks and the 3 riding up on top of the 8. All right, so we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. On 2-hour candle, we've got a bullish cross right there. It's a little beginning of 2-hour uptrend coming in to the close on SPY. Daily candle. All right, daily candle is an outside day. It's a higher high, lower low, closing inside a bearish trap, closing under the flat 17 EMA. That's SPY. Let's take a look at QQQ. They closed over a bearish trap. Right? Yeah, over a bearish trap. Okay, so back to SPY. All right, so they're inside a bearish trap under the flat 17 EMA. On the weekly candle, we are still on the weekly candle. This is the origin of our move back here in April. Price moves up over to the right. We have to take out this low right here, which is 650.85. Currently, we're still in an uptrend because we have not made any lower lows. So we're kind of in a pullback within the uptrend. So price action goes up over to the right. That's bullish. Or at the top, we're in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. All right, and we're still in an uptrend because we haven't made any lower lows on SPY. Same thing on the monthly chart. See all the green dots? Okay, the origin of the move right here starts on April. We go up and over to the right. You can see we're still in quadrant 4. So that's bullish, still in an uptrend there on the monthly chart. On the daily chart, again, lower high, lower low. Yeah, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing inside bearish trap under the flat 17, under the falling 17. We're still in a downtrend on SPY on the daily chart, because we've got a lower high and we made lower low. So we're still in a downtrend on the daily, but we're still bullish because we're up in the upper third still. So price bullish, but currently in a downtrend right there. Let's take a look at the game plan. Look at that on the 10-minute chart. All right, so we've got green erases red over 680. Okay, up above 680, that's a green erases red entry up there. Pivot 674, above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green. Okay, right underneath this little valley right here. Not the low of day, but that valley right there. So price below 668.05, that it would be a red erases green entry underneath there. All right, I like 3 days till expiration, 10 days till expiration, Friday options on the multiple of 5. All right, so specifically the Friday options on the multiple of 5. For the open interest, I like a tight bid-ask spread, and I don't want a lot of slippage if I get stopped out. All right, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. They tend to be a little bit cheaper. All right, they don't give you the performance that an in-the-money option will give you. In the money will give you penny for penny performance, but an out-of-the-money will give you less performance, but it's also less risk. You're not paying up as much for those. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. If a 10-minute uptrend were to manifest down here, okay, long before it gets to the green erases red entry, I'm not opposed to trading it to the upside. I just like to see it break that bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. Let's take a look at QQQ, because they got a game plan. So QQQ, we've got the pivot 601.70. I don't know how that got moved around, but actually let's leave it at 602. Let's leave it at 602.50. We're going to change this to 602.55. Okay, 602.55 right there. Okay, so pivot 602.55, green erases red over 609.30. Yep, that's right. And underneath that little valley right there, that's going to be my red erases green. That's 597.60 underneath there would be a red erases green entry. Same thing on QQQ. I like the 3 days and the 10 days till expiration, specifically the Friday option on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest, the tight bid-ask spread, less slippage on the stop outs. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. Again, they're going to be cheaper. They won't give you the performance that an in-the-money option will give you, but they will cost you a lot less. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. All right, let's take a look at some of the other products around the horn. Actually, let's take a look at QQQ on the 10-minute chart. Look at it on a clean one right here. So QQQ, 10-minute uptrend. 10-minute uptrend coming into the close yesterday is an uptrend. On the 2-hour chart, just like SPY, we got that bullish cross. So 2-hour uptrend coming into the close right there. Daily candle is outside day, higher high, lower low, closing over bullish, a bearish trap, and over the 17 EMA right there. So I'm pretty sure it's over. 17 is 607.74. And we close 607.76. So we're over the 17 EMA there on QQQ on the daily candle. Okay, looking like we're still underneath this pink line. That would be the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're back over the uptrend line. We're still in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish right there. And we've still got a low and made lower lows. So we're still in a downtrend. We have not made any higher highs yet. So QQQ still bullish, but in a downtrend. On the weekly candles, you can see right here is the origin of our move. April low, price moves up over to the right. We have not made any lower lows. Got to take out that low right there, which happens to be 680.74. We have not gotten below that. If we make a lower low, we'll negate the uptrend that we're currently in and convert it to a downtrend. We're still in the upper third, all right, and we're still in an uptrend. We're just not moving up. Kind of pullback in the uptrend right now. On the monthly candle, see all the green dots? Price moving up over to the right. We're still bullish and in an uptrend on QQQ. Back to the daily chart. Let's take a look at IWM. Move that out of the way. And we're on the daily candle. That's right. Okay, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's the pink line right there. Okay, you can see here's the origin of our rally starting back here in April. We go up, pull back, go up, pull back, go up, and pulling back again. So we got two equal lows here. Okay, we're still in the upper third, so we're still bullish. The only thing is we got a downtrend right now, okay, because we got lows and we made a lower low. So we're currently in a downtrend on IWMs. Take a look at Diamond Dow. Another outside day, closing under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, still in the upper third, so we're still bullish. But obviously we have a low here, there's a lower high, and there's a lower low, so we're in a downtrend. Another downtrend, but we're still bullish up here in the upper third for Diamond Dow. Let's take a look at FNGU. It's an outside day as well. Higher high, lower low. Closing over a bullish trap, over the hooking 17 EMA, under the midpoint, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, under the all-time low anchored VWAP. Still haven't made a higher high yet, so we're neutral and still in a downtrend there for Stinker. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. Silver daily candle for yesterday, higher low, higher high. Closing over the bearish trap, closing under the all-time high anchored VWAP, still in the middle of quadrant 3 down here, so it's not in the upper third. So we're still neutral, and we're still in a downtrend because we got a low here, we made a lower low, still in a downtrend. Good news is we are melting up at this time. So there's silver, neutral, but still in a downtrend. Let's take a look at gold. Gold got a lower high, lower low, closing inside bearish trap, over the flat 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP, in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish. Here's the origin of our move for gold way back here in 2022, and you can see us flying high up there in quadrant 4. So we're bullish up here, and we've got a high, a low, and a higher high. So we're still in an uptrend on gold and still bullish because we're up in the upper third. Let's take a look at USO. USO, outside day, higher high, lower low, closing inside the upper third. So that's still going to be bullish up there. Okay, but if we look way over here, on the weekly chart, last time we were up here was actually $2018. Okay, was the last time we were up here. Okay, so there's Okay, there's 1 year, 2 year, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5. All right, so 7.5 years ago, that's how high. Okay, so that's a new 7.5 year high on USO. That's the last time we were up here, way back then. Okay, so new 7.5 year high for USO. We're bullish, still in an uptrend on USO. Let's take a look at UNG. All right, UNG back to the daily chart. Got an outside day, higher high, lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the flat 17. Still in quadrant. Let me show you this. This is still quadrant 1. This pink line right here, this is a 12-month high anchored VWAP. Not a very big high, not a high bar that's been set, but notice they still struggle with this 12-month high anchored VWAP. So we're down in quadrant 1, so we're bearish, and we have not made... Well, okay. Well, I guess we could technically call this an uptrend. See how they go up, pull back, make a higher low right here, and then make a higher high. Not a lot of candles, but technically they did it. So UNG currently in an uptrend, but down here in quadrant 1, that's still bearish. That's UNG. All right, US. Let's take a look at the technicals. T2101. So yesterday we came down and then rallied high really fast. A little bit more participation as we came from low to high. A lot of participation right there on T2101, T2122. So we were in the oversold zone, and we spent some time in the oversold zone yesterday, and we rallied all the way back to the sell zone. Okay, so not very far. Okay, you can see with the looks of the candles you saw, you would think we would be up here in the overbought zone the way that they rallied price back, but you can see we're only back to the sell zone. So still showing some weakness there, all right, in the NYSE, all right. So that would be more represented by IWM than it would be SPY or QQQ. Okay, remember QQQ is the NASDAQ 100, so that's about 100 securities in the NASDAQ, and then you got S&P 500, so there's 500 securities. The Russell 2000, that's going to represent 2,000 of the NYSE securities. So it's kind of a broader representation of the NYSE. And you can see when we don't weight the stocks like they do in Diamond Dow and QQQ and SPY, you can see that we still smell trouble in the waters here, because we can see we're just barely lifting up out of the oversold zone there. So there's T2122. So still some weakness in the air. We'll have to take a look at the VIX, see if that's improving. T2123. Okay, bearish gap down. The bulls never filled the gap. They tried very hard. So we're currently, there's a low, there's a low. So we're currently, does this high go up over that 17? Yes, it does. So we got a low, a higher low, and then a higher high. So currently in an uptrend on T21 23 15-minute chart, but under the flat 17 EMA. All right, and it's not where I want to be. If I'm a bull, I want to be on the other side of that flat 17 EMA. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. And on the 3-bar chart, we're also in a downtrend in that we put in a low right here underneath the 17. I'll back out so you can see the origin. So here's our April low. All right, and then there's that was the all-time high. This became the new all-time high. We made a higher low, and the bulls were inspired to make that higher high. Now look what's happening. And I think if you follow me on the last 2 or 3 days, I've been pointing out that, hey, we're right here at the Fibonacci retracement, the 1272 and the 16182 right there, up there. So you got the 1272 up here. I can crank that up, kind of see where that's at. Okay, so here's this line right here. So 1272 up there, and then I'm gonna take this and move this out of the way. Actually, I'm gonna hit OK, and I'm gonna move it over to this higher low, and you can see where price. Here's the 1618 right there, and look at what's happening. We're getting a bounce away from there, so it could be a reversal. Hey, I don't know how long the reversal lasts. They very well could come down to this higher low and then J-hook out of there and make higher highs. We'll see what happens. Right now, both the 15-minute, okay, and the 3-bar chart are in downtrends. So I'm going to take that off a little bit there. Okay, don't quite need it. And you can see we've got a low right there and a high. And then we created a lower low. So we're in a downtrend on the 3-bar chart. FNGU on the 15-minute. All right, we've got, we're up over the 200. So that's where I want to be if I'm a bull. But I wish FNGU would have been bullish about 3 months ago. Currently under the pink line. That's the all-time high anchored VWAP. We're over the 200. That's the red line. So that's where I want to be if I'm a bull. Here's price action right here. We've got from yesterday. There's a low. We obviously made a lower low. Question is, did we make a higher high? There's a high. We made a high there. We made a higher low. And then there's the high. And then there's the high. And this high beat both of those. So we're in an uptrend coming into the close on FNGU on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, so FNGU 15-minute because made higher high right there. See the high? They made a higher high. So that's FNGU. Let's take a look. So we took a look at the technicals. U.S. dollar index. You can see 2025 high comes down into a bear flag. And currently in the bear flag, you've got a low, a higher low, and then you've got a high. See how it goes up over the 17, and it got a higher high right there. So we're currently in an uptrend within the bear flag currently. You can see it's dealing with this 200 SMA right now. Okay, so we'll see how far they want to go with that. But that is the U.S. dollar index. Let's take a look at our economic package. Start off with max pain for today for SPY 674. Let's see if they change it on me. Still 674. Put to call ratio 2 puts for each call that expires today. Okay, and on the economic calendar here, okay, the main event this week, we got 2 of them. We got one's going to be CPI 830, that's tomorrow. And the other one is going to be GDP, all right? You know, I'm going to say this right now. That said delayed report. Now it's no longer the delayed report, okay? So GDP, it was the delayed report back when I did it on Sunday night, all right? So now it's just the regular GDP coming out at 8:30 on Friday. So those are the 2 main events this week you might want to be hedged for. Probably going to be a lot of volatility wrapped up around those numbers right there, okay? GDP, and CPI. Today, what do we got going on? Existing home sales at 10, NFIB, small business optimism index coming out at 8. Again, existing home sales at 10. That's it. Really light day. Tomorrow's the main event. 8:30 in the morning. CPI is going to be released. Got a petroleum report at 10. Treasury statement at 2. All right. Thursday, we've got housing starts and permits. That's a delayed report. 8:30. We got international trade in goods and services. Another delayed report. 8:30. Jobless claims. 8:30. Quarterly services survey, 10 o'clock, and a natural gas report for inventories at 10:30, right there. Okay, Friday, we got durable goods orders. That's a delayed report, 8:30. GDP, not a delayed report, 8:30. Personal income and outlays, a delayed report, 8:30. Consumer sentiment at 10, JOLTS at 10, rig count at 1. That's it right there for the week. All right. Take a look at earnings. Not much earnings. I think we got Oracle. Yeah, Oracle's coming out tonight. Okay, that's pretty much the main event as far as earnings go this week. They're about almost half a trillion, 439 billion. They're going to report tonight. Not really a big market mover. Market may move a little bit on Oracle, but all in all, not really. I mean, we're really zoned in or focused in, right on, scoped in on the semiconductors. All right, because it's all about those graphics chips and the AI. Okay, Oracle's more of a software component of the tech sector. So it's not really going to be a market mover. When you get into tech and AI, big focus on those graphics chips and those components that are capable of doing the AI. Or Oracle's not that I know of. I haven't heard any news of maybe AI software. Haven't heard much from them yet, but. There's Oracle, 439 billion. They're going to report tonight after the close. Again, the rest of it, more familiar names. Nothing here that's going to move the markets. Tomorrow, familiar names. Nothing that's going to move the markets. Thursday, familiar names. Adobe, another one, just software. Nothing's going to move the markets here, but we have familiar names, okay? Lennar, we've all heard of Lennar. Got 2 Lennars going to report. Dollar General, all right? Wheat and Precious Metals, Dick's Sporting Goods, Rubric, okay? All familiar names, but nothing that's going to send the markets into a tailspin or into a huge rally. Friday, again, more familiar names, nothing market moving here. Okay, so that's it for that. Now let's take a look at the market, see how we're going to trade it for today. So let's go back to this one right here with the pre-market on it. Okay, so we're up. We had a pullback, making a higher low. From there, we went up, made a higher high, and made a higher low right there. All right, so kind of zoning in to the bullish side here. Currently, we're in a 10-minute downtrend currently. I don't know if this is the second test of the highs. All right, now they kind of needed to make a higher high, which was get up over that. And if you notice, they didn't get the job done. All right. Remember back here, we needed to make a higher high right there. We didn't get the job done, and price came down to here. Okay. We need to make a higher high here. I don't know if we can get I don't know how the market's going to perceive that. All right. But again, failed to make a significant higher high. If we don't get the job done we are in jeopardy of having price, just like here, pull back down and test these lows again. Okay, remember we failed here, and price came, tumbling back down here to test the prior low. So we could see the same thing again, unless, of course, they start consolidating up here and moving to the right. We'll find out, okay? Other than that, I'm going to play it or trade it continuation of the 10-minute downtrend. That's my trade because they have not made any higher highs. Okay, so no higher high. Trading the downtrend back here. All right? That's my plan. Now, if they get back up here and they start consolidating over to the right up here over yesterday's close, they start consolidating up around yesterday's close, all right, bullishly up there, I will be more interested in trading this as a bull flag in which I'd like to buy the bottom of it and trade it to the upside each time. All right, that's my plan for this morning. All right, I will see everybody in about 40 minutes and we'll open up the markets.